Greetings, hackers! This is Jay from Hackmastering Roll20. I know it's been a while. I haven't really been playing that much Hackmaster recently. Through a combination of our group had been playing it for just years and years, and having done almost every single printed module for it, and just needing a bit of a change. But I have noticed that this channel has continued to gain subscribers during the pandemic and subsequent lockdowns. And I guess that just means that a lot more people are using Roll20 to play games and specifically to play Hackmaster recently. The channel just hit 100 subs, which is pretty good for me. Just some random guy talking about Hackmaster. And I thought I would take this time to talk about some of the things that have actually changed in Roll20 since I last actually made any videos. So there's two big things. I made a post on one of my videos a while ago mentioning it, but the biggest thing is that the custom status markers that I used to indicate lanterns and if someone had a shield and things like that, that used to be an API script that you had to install, but now that has been hard-coded into the actual Roll20 platform as token marker sets. So I want to talk about those, and I want to talk about some changes to the character record sheet that have been going on. So first, looking at the token marker sets, I'm just going to show you. Here we have a nighttime ambush. Some Raven thugs have ambushed both Baradin and Sir Eddic as they're traveling through after a night of drunken debauchery. You can see up here, this one has a crossbow. Sir Eddic has a shield, and this guy has already been knocked on his ass by someone. So the biggest difference is that when we need to do something, so let's say that Baradin ran over here and just killed this guy. Like one shot him, bam. If you want to add a new status marker, they are actually now included in with all of the others. So you see there's all the regular black and white ones here, which are the ones that are provided by Roll20, but now all of the ones that I've added are going to be listed in there. So say if he killed this guy dead, I would just put the dead marker on it to show that he is dead. A couple of important things that are different from the API script. First off, these will be in line with any of the other status markers that get put on there. So in the original mod, they would be above it. So this way, it's just one horizontal line of buffs or debuffs that you want to indicate. Secondly, they are not their own tokens. So you see, I can't click on the individual things. So that means I can't do those things like making a lantern that has its own lighting arc, but that's okay because it kind of turned out no one really did that. So how do we use these? It's actually considerably easier now. If you go to your campaign, every campaign is going to have a section down here that says token marker sets. And there's always the default, which was the one that has all those weirdo symbols. But in this case, I've added the Hackmaster set. If you want to add a new set, you just hit the plus, and it allows you to search, through the ones that you've already got. But I already have the Hackmaster one on here, so I don't need to do that. If, however, I want to add a new status marker or token mod or whatever they're calling it now, token marker, to it, I would hit the three dots here, and that gives some more options. I'm going to view the token marker set. Okay, so you can see here's the ones that I've already made. I've got a bow, I've got a crossbow, dead, threshold of pain, and a shield token. But let's say I want a better shield. All you need to do, hit add images, and then you just find a picture that you like from somewhere. And I'm just going to find sort of like a random shield that I've got. I'm going to upload it into there. Alright, it's processing. And then it's going to ask you to name it. So I'm going to call this one Shield 2. And there we go. So now that's been added in. Now I won't be able to access this until I refresh the page. So I'm just going to F5 that bad boy. And it's going to reload. And so maybe now I don't like this black and white shield for Sir Eddic, it looks kind of boring. Even though most of the other tokens, most of the other symbols are black and white. That's why I originally made that one, because I thought it kind of matched a bit better. But maybe I want him to have something that fits his knightly prestige a bit better. And as you can see, there it is. Now, because it's a little silver and it's so small, it might kind of be lost. So what you generally want to do is add, if possible, a white border to different things, or depending on the coloration, perhaps a black border to make it more noticeable. If you look at this bow and arrow, I've put a white glow around it, and you can do that in any graphics program like Paint.net or Photoshop or what have you. Paint.net, of course, is free, so that's what I use. That way it makes it easier to see these things. Otherwise, as you can see, they kind of have a tendency to get lost. So that is another reason for using this sort of more boring shield token, is it's a lot more visible. So that's the custom token markers now. Like I said, very easy to use. You don't need an API script. Anyone can do it now. Now, let's look at the second thing, is the character record sheet. In the past few months, there has been a whole bunch of work done on the character record sheet. I believe most of it has been by Eli. This is all mainly being documented on the Hackmaster Discord. I don't actually have a link for the Discord handy, but you can usually find people talking about it on either the Kenzerco forums or on Facebook in the Hackmaster group. But basically the Discord has been getting a lot more discussion and things. I've noticed there's more chat there, generally, except not by the D team, unfortunately. But one of the big things has been work on the Hackmaster character record sheet. Again, not really much of that ever comes from the D team. It's all from volunteers. So, if we want to look at some of the changes, one of the unfortunate changes that has happened is in the attributes, you'll notice that Constitution is currently labeled Constitution. So unfortunately, that's making people's Constitution not show up. Don't fear. This is easily fixed by just spelling Constitution right. And then, hey, it's back. Okay. And you can see, like, in theory, see this guy's... Sir Eddic is 1812. In theory, that should be 1812, like that. You might need to update some of the things on your character record sheets. In fact, you can see that it's automatically done something. It's saying he's an assassin. He's not an assassin. He's a knight. So we'll give him that. He's not a dwarf either. So it's just going for whatever's up on the top. So you will have to probably go through and change a few things. So you've probably already noticed a lot of this. Like this poison save of 0.4. But some things that have been changed, just to give you a outline, and there's going to be more changes coming and probably some other things I've missed. But along here, skill checks now have opposed skill checks, which is something that I really like. So for instance, if you were just asked to do a listen check, that's the standard. Oh, I rolled a 58 out of 12. If it was, however, going to be an opposed listen check against somebody else's sneaking, then you would do that, and see now that's added it together. I rolled an 86 plus my 12. So that's handy. We also have fatigue has been added, apparently. I still don't really know how fatigue works, I'll be honest. I kind of ignored it for most of the games. Generally, that whole fact that you ignore fatigue on the first encounter of the day made it tend to not come up too often. But all the details are in here. You're going to notice a lot more of these sort of pull-down menus that can give you more information. Though, I believe Sir Eddic is wearing plate mail and has a large shield. And he's got healthy weight. So his base fatigue is 4. And then we would also plug all this stuff in. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. Some more saving throws have been added. As you can see, there's the poison save. It is kind of messed up currently, but I believe there is a change in the works for the next week or so. There's ability saves and checks, so now you can just roll that and see whether it's a save or a check, and then it'll tell you, what it is. So some of these will be, they add together if it's a save, and it just rolls it under it if it's a check. That's usually the way things were done in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons and in Hackmaster 4th Edition. So a lot of GMs call for these, even though I don't think they're usually ever actually in any of the modules or anything. Likewise, the feat of strength now has its own button, so you can press the button to do a feat of strength. Same with a feat of agility. Combat profiles have had... Okay, ignore how many things this guy's got. This guy collects a lot of weapons, but there's now a lot more details on it, so you can actually add specialization modifiers to everything, talent modifiers, style, and miscellaneous bonuses. This is a big thing now because you were really limited before on what you could actually do on each weapon, and you kind of had to fake it a lot of the time. So this lets you put in a lot of stuff, including separate jab damage and everything, and it gives you the ability to do jabs down here, which is also very good. In addition, it now has its shield damage in there, so if you hit someone's shield, you just press that, and built-in defense roll as well. I haven't actually set it up, so it's probably not working right. But if we look at it, this also... Oh god, he gained fatigue from this. You can see that they've also updated the look on all this stuff. So it's got its own template now. What else has changed here? Repeating wound sections. Normally, before there was like 8 wound sections or something like that. And in my campaign, it actually did come up a few times where there wasn't enough. So now the wound section... There's just going to be like the one here. You add in a wound, you put how much it is and how many days are left. And there's a space for a note so you can say what it's from and where it is. And then you can just keep adding more wounds as you take them and then remove them as they're healed. Spell section has a lot more usability now. If you want to add a spell in, you can put in the level of the spell, the name of the spell, what kind of components, speed, and SP. That's all the very basic stuff, and you can choose whether it's memorized or not. But down here, you can say what kind of save it requires and put notes. And the thing is, if you put in notes, you can spell them right, first of all. I was going to... Okay. You could say, you know, hits for... And then bracketed die roll. If you put that in there and then cast it, it will actually roll it for you. So that way these spells can just be one button casts, and most buttons can be dragged down into the macro bar, so all you need to do is press it to use it. Now obviously Sir Eddic is not actually going to be casting any spells here. He's too much of a manly man knight for that, so let me just get rid of this. Okay. There's also talk that the spell section is going to be changed to a tab. So right now it's kind of at the bottom, but there might be like a character sheet tab and then a spell sheet tab to make it totally separate. And one of the other big things, which may seem really minor, but it's actually really big, is that items can now weigh 0.5. Decimals can be allowed instead of everything having to be a 1. So that actually makes everything a lot more accurate. And you'll notice that this character, I might have to do an audit even though we're not playing. He obviously doesn't have any of his shit figured out. So those are just some of the things that have been going on in the world of Hackmaster on Roll20 in the past months or year or whatever, 2 years, whatever it's been. I thought I might make a little video, let people know that there are changes happening on the character sheet, and there's been talk of changes happening to the turn order tracker. I don't have much information on that, but again, that's something you can find more information on the Discord. If anyone has any questions about any of this, just let me know in the comments down below. I'm generally on the forums and on Facebook and on the Hackmaster Discord. I just don't usually post too much in the Facebook and the forums lately. All right, I hope this has been informative for everybody, and happy hacking.